we are telling the line of this verse spoken by Uddhav in glorification of the gopis. That just as their love is beyond the capacity even of the imagination of an eternally liberated associate of Krishna, so dear to him, of Dwarka. So similarly, the Katha about the love of those gopis also is imbued with inconceivable power. And that inconceivable power is that if any living entities, they have some interest in hearing about the glories of the gopis of Vrindavan, and they will hear from a realized Vaishnava the glories of Radhika and Braj gopis, even if they don't understand. They have such an inconceivable Shakti that very soon, in this life or next life, very soon, this very powerful Prem will come to that living entity, and then they will be incorporated into the eternal Leela of Radha and Krishna by Yogamaya. Persons who understand and have faith in these words of Uddhav, they can sacrifice everything just to hear Harikatha. So don't have any doubt in the words of Uddhav. He's Pramanik Vyakti. He's an authoritative person. Whatever he says, it's 100% true, for sure. So put your faith and trust in the power of hearing Harikatha, especially Braj Leela, and especially the glories of the gopis and Shrimati Radhika. This is Agada Raja. This medicine will never fail, regardless of your present state of understanding or realization. Buridajana. So now we have come to the 5th verse of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's Manah Siksa. So pay very careful attention. It will save you. Here Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, Asatchasta kasta pada vikatapashali biriha Prakamat kamada patipati byatikare Kalei badvahanye iti bakavidvarmak pagane Kuruttam futkaran navati sayatatam manahita. Oh my dear mind, asat chesta kasta prada. When you do asat chesta, that means material activities. The asat chesta, the endeavors for the worldly things, they are kasta prada. The result is that it will give you suffering. So, this asat chesta, this tendency to be involved in worldly activities, these are like ropes. Galei badvahanyeham. And these ropes are binding me. Raghunath Das Swami is saying to his mind, I am being bound around the neck by the ropes of the sinful and worldly activities. But ropes by themselves, they never attack you. Ropes cannot do anything. These ropes are in the hand of a group of dacoits. Just like a person, they may be walking along the road at night, and some thieves are hiding in waiting, and they have ropes. And in the dark, they suddenly jump out and put the noose ropes around your neck. and pull. And they try to drag you away from where you are going and beat you and steal everything. So at that time, when you are being attacked, what do? Then in great desperation, you call out. Kuruttam futkaran. Futkaran means call out. And you call out in such a way. How intense is your desire that the sound of your voice will go into the ear of someone who is powerful enough to come to your rescue. So in this analogy, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, I am like a traveler, and I am traveling on the path of bhakti. I am trying to go to my Prayojan, to my destination of the service of Radha and Krishna. However, hiding in a hidden place, there are the thieves and robbers. That means Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mada, Moha and Matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, pride, the bewilderment and the envy. They're like dacoits in hiding. Why? Because you may not be conscious of them. But suddenly, though you did not know that they were there in your heart, they jump out. And then they bind you with the ropes and pull you into the asat chasta, into the wicked and worldly activities. At that time, what should you do? He's saying, oh my dear mind, at that time, you are helpless, you are desperate. Don't try to do control your mind by Ashtanga Yoga. They are strong, the dacoits are stronger than you. Just take shelter. So he's saying, Iti bhakavid varmapukane. The devotees of Krishna, they are Vatma Pa. Vatma is the path and Pa means Pati, the protectors. They are the Palakas, the protectors of the path of bhakti. And so when the difficulties come, internal difficulties come, at that time shout out, Gurudev! Prabhupada! Oh Swarup Damodar Goswami! Oh Raghunath Das Goswami! Oh Thakur Bhakti Vinod! Call out to them. And they are not dead persons from history. They are your guardian angels in this path of Raganuga Bhakti. They are always there. And if you call them, they will come and they will save you. So, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is writing this because even when the realization is awakening in the heart and greed comes, but still, until the stage of bhav, ruchi bis chittamasanya, until the chitta is completely melted by the influx of Krishna's internal potency, Krishna's pure spiritual energy, even though on one side, like parallel tracks, realization is awakening. But on another aspect of your consciousness, the mature mind is still there. And it's carrying impressions of so many impressions from this life and from previous lives even. They are like time bombs. You know, you can set the timing of a bomb, it will go off in the next year. So we have these sanskars and they're ready to manifest in the form of different types of desires and ambitions in your mind at any particular time. So your realization is unfolding, and at the same time, these sanskars may arise any time, you cannot say. So there's always a danger that the mind will cause harm to you before the appearance of bhav. That danger is always there. So devotees, especially Madhyamadikari, they should be very careful. My Gurudev used to say, all fall downs are from the Madhyam, from Nishtha especially. Because in Nishtha, you have developed a certain level of qualification, but taste has not arisen yet. So it's very easy. If you don't have very good association, high class association, and hear sweet Harikatha, to develop a thick taste, then very easy to fall. For Kanishta, they don't really fall down because they're already down. They can just roll to the left or roll to the right. But when the devotee has come through Anartha Nivritti and Nishta is there, this is a very critical point in your spiritual life. You must have Rasik Vaishnava Sangha at that time. And when Ruchi comes, then more or less you are safe. But still there is some danger there. So one should be extremely alert to that danger. So you should learn these verses. And when the time comes in your life, when you are doing bhajan, and the mature energy is thinking, oh, this jiva will escape very soon, and tries to, mature energy tries to attract you again, then you remember this verse and call out to the guardians of the path of devotion. When you learn these verses of Manah Siksa, don't think that you are studying like a student at college. You should think that I am conforming my desires precisely with the desires of Raghunath Das Goswami. I am, by learning these verses and reciting them, I am attuning my heart to the heart of Raghunath Das Goswami, to the heart of my Gurudev. Because any acharya in this parampara, what have they done? They have absorbed themselves in the vichardhara, the current of the conception of their previous acharyas. They have emptied themselves completely, and they have mixed their heart fully with the heart of their Gurudev. This is how realization comes. Nectar is flowing in the heart of Gurudev. How will you taste it? First, unconditional surrender. And niskapat, niswarta, guru seva. Niskapat means without any duplicity. And nishwarta, without any selfishness. This is very easily detected. If there's any duplicity or selfishness, then service will not go on, it will not be steady. The conditioned souls, their consciousness is so corrupt. Even they don't understand, they're not aware often of their own motivations. So devotee may come and begin to serve their Gurudev. And I am trying to be surrendered and very pure. But actually they have some ulterior motive, even they're not aware of themselves. And when that motive is fulfilled, or when that motive is not fulfilled, either way, they'll either become frustrated or become slack in their service. Like this. And therefore it's necessary to remain in association of Guru and Vaishnavas and serve many years, niskapat, without duplicity, and nishwarta, without expecting anything in return. And by this, then, the anartha nivritti, the removal of the unwanted desires, takes place, and the consciousness begins to become clear. A space begins to open in the heart. That means that's the internal sky, in which the holy name, the pure name can arise. Rid Gagane Viraje, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. When will the pure name, like the sun, arise in the sky of my heart? But at first the devotee has so many anarthas. He doesn't even know that there is such a thing as the sky of the heart. Even. Because the consciousness is completely polluted and absorbed in external things. So, niskapat and niswarta, without duplicity, without selfishness, Guru Seva. and the heart will gradually become clear. Chaito darpanamarjanam. Anartha-nivritti is going on. And then when taste arises, even then there's still some danger. So Raghunath Das Goswami is speaking this verse. I know that my Gurudev, he's constantly absorbed in these verses of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, remembering them and living them. So this is my desire, to empty my heart completely and then completely mix my consciousness with the consciousness of my Gurudev. So what he's feeling, what he's tasting, it will come to me naturally. This is how one enters into the Vichardhara, the current of the ecstasies of Rupa Goswami. Be careful of the mind. It is very dangerous. Be always alert. You know that once Arjun in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna spoke to Arjun about the Dhyan Yoga and controlling the mind, Arjun said, Chanchalam hi Manah Krishna. Oh Krishna, the mind is so restless. Controlling the mind is like trying to control the wind. The wind is just blowing now. Okay, anyone try to stop it. What can you do? It will go above you, below you, through your fingers, everywhere. There's nothing you can do. So it's very difficult to control it. But who said this? The mind is very restless. Arjun. Arjun, the person who was so powerful. He went to Swargalok, to Indralok. And there, Urvashi, the most beautiful Apsara in the courtyard of Indra, approached him to have the amorous relationship. And in heaven actually there's no fault. That is atmosphere, the devatas, they can meet together freely. There's no sin there. Because they don't have gross bodies and gross senses. So the most beautiful Apsara, Urvashi, oh, if any man will see her, they will faint. She approached Arjun and she was very eager to meet with him. And what did he say? No. That Arjun, who is so self-controlled that he can say no to Urvashi, he said, Chanchalam hi Manah Krishna. Mind is really difficult to control. This is a kimuta. So imagine, if he is saying his mind is difficult to control, then don't think, I am yogi, mahayogi. No. That you think that you control your mind is the trick of your own mind. Just waiting for the day to take advantage of your, how can we say, complacency. So, once it happened that Duryodhan, during the battle of Kurukshetra, he was very upset. He thought, oh, Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, they're not fighting to their full capacity. So, and he complained to them. So, Bhishma and Drona, they know very powerful tactics in warfare. So they arranged the army of the Kauravas in the Chakravyuha. Chakravyuha is a very difficult formation. And when it comes forward, it's very hard for the opposing army to stop, unless they know the art how to enter into it and break it apart, break the formation. So, their idea was that instead of so many people being killed, let's just send the army forward, the phalanxes forward in a Chakravyuha, directly towards Yudhishthira Maharaj. And if we capture him, the war will be over. Because if you capture the leader of the opposing army, then the other army surrenders, and then the war is finished. So they decided that they would do this.
So ist das so entschlossen.
Only problem is,
Das einzige Problem war,
Arjun, he knows how to break this formation. He has learned from Dronacharya. But Jayadratha, he had done some austerities to please Lord Shiva. And he asked for the benediction that he could kill the Pandavas. But Lord Shiva, would not give this benediction. So he gave the benediction, oh, you can hold them at bay for one day. So they decided Jayadratha would fight with Arjun and keep him out of the battle. And then the Chakravyuh would come and capture Yudhishthira Maharaj, and then the Kauravas will win the war. So when the battle began that day, Jayadratha engaged with Arjun. And then the formation of the warriors came, and it was coming very close, about to take Yudhishthira Maharaj. And no one could do anything about it, because only Arjun knew how to counteract this tactic. However, the son of Arjun, Abhimanyu, he also knew something about this. Because years ago, when he was in the womb of his mother, then the Arjun was describing to Subhadra, his wife, the mother of Abhimanyu. He was describing to her all about military tactics. It's very funny. Sometimes, you know, men are really interested in certain things that women are not interested in. But still the men insist on talking to them. And it's because they're so enthusiastic about it. So Subhadra was pregnant, and Abhimanyu was in her womb. And Arjun was saying, I learned some wonderful things from my Gurudev. And he started talking about the military formation. And then how the technique, how single-handedly you can go in and break it. And so he was telling all this, and Subhadra was kind of showing interest, trying to show interest. But after he explained how to go in, then she fell asleep. So he never had the chance to explain how to get out. So Abhimanyu, in the womb, he had some impression of how, so he could feel like, yes, I know, don't worry, I know how to do this. And at the very critical point in the war, where the Kauravas were on the verge of winning, and it was almost all over, then Abhimanyu, though he was very young, only about 15 or 16 years old, and he was newly married also, and his wife Uttara, she was pregnant, and the child in her womb never saw his father. Very sad. I saw one very beautiful painting, old painting, of Abhimanyu saying goodbye to Uttara and leaving for the war. Then when you see this, already when the husband is going to war, the wife is very emotional. But knowing what happened, that she was pregnant and he never came back. Very, very pathetic moment. So he said, oh, I know how to do this. And very heroically and single-handedly, he broke through the Chakravyuh and came to the middle. But when he got there, then he could not figure out, he could not understand how to get out. So 7 Maharathis, great warriors, like Karna, Dushashan, Duryodhan, others, they surrounded him. And though it is against the rules of law, the laws of the war, so together they killed him. So this is against the laws of chivalry. So from that moment, chivalry died. From that was the first one, because warriors would always engage according to the codes of the combat. But from that moment, in the Mahabharata war, and since those days also, now there's no chivalry. no heroism,
Es gibt kein
only cheating.
Heldentum mehr, nur noch
Now we
Betrug.
come to the stage where,
Jetzt
oh,
sind wir zur Stufe
they throw gas, they give each other poison gas,
Chaos und
and
gegenseitige
drop bombs on children while they're asleep.
Bomben
Yeah?
über
It's
Kinder, wenn sie
everything.
schlafen.
Actually, what it means to be a hero or a warrior, it's all finished from
Alles,
that
was
day.
es bedeutet, ein Held zu sein, ist alles weg. Seit
So,
dem Tag.
Abhimanyu was killed,
Abhimanyu wurde getötet.
but he stopped the advancement of the Chakravyuha
Aber hat
formation
diese Formation stoppen
sufficiently
können, so
that the end of the day came and they had not captured Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Und sie konnten Yudhishthira nicht
So though he was very young,
obwohl
he
jung
was very brave,
war,
and
so
he
mutig,
saved the whole war actually.
hat den ganzen
He
Krieg gerettet,
saved the Pandavas from losing the war.
hat die Pandavas gerettet.
So then in the
Bevor,
evening,
dass sie den Krieg verlieren,
all the warriors returned back to their camps.
sind alle wieder zurück am Morgen.
And the news was given to Arjun.
Und Arjuna hat die Neuigkeit bekommen, dass
Oh,
sein Sohn getötet
Your
wurde.
son is very brave, very valiant, he has saved the day,
Hat den Tag gerettet,
but he is dead.
aber ist tot.
And then Arjun, he became furious
Arjuna wurde aufgebracht.
because he knew that Jayadratha had engaged him and taken him out of the battle
Hat ihn aus dem Kampf
just for
herausgebracht
this. So he made a vow.
und hat ein Gelübde gemacht.
Before the sun sets tomorrow, I will
Bevor
kill
morgen
Jayadratha.
die Sonne untergeht, werde ich Jayadratha
If I don't
töten.
kill him,
Wenn ich ihn nicht töte,
I will enter into fire
werde ich ins Feuer gehen
and give up my life.
und mein Leben aufgeben.
He took this strong vow.
Dieses starke
So then the
Gelübde
next
hat er
day,
genommen.
when
An
the
diesem Tag,
when the battle began,
wo der
then
Kampf
Jayadratha
angefangen
knew
hat,
he had
Jayadratha
spent
wusste,
his benediction.
hat seinen
He could
Segen
hold back the
abgegeben.
Pandavas for one day.
Konnte die Pandavas
He spent
einen
his
Tag
benediction.
besiegen.
So then they arranged the armies in a very long formation
Eine
of
lange
many
Formation
phalanxes,
von ganz
with
vielen-
Jayadratha at the back.
und Jayadratha ganz hinten.
And they knew that Arjun had made a vow,
Und
I
Jayadratha
will
hat
kill
einen
Jayadratha
Gelübde gemacht. Ich werde Jayadratha
before the sun
töten,
sets.
bevor die
Otherwise, I will give up my life by entering into fire.
Leben aufgeben,
So
ins
then
Feuer
the
gehen.
Kauravas were very happy. Okay, let's make a big long line of all the soldiers and put Jayadratha at the back. And Arjun will have to fight his way through everyone before he can get to Jayadratha. And if we can stop him from getting there, then Arjun will be finished, and then we'll... Because Arjun is very powerful. If he will not be on that side, it will be much more easy to defeat the Pandavas. So then from early morning, Arjun, he was firing his very powerful weapons and cutting his way through thousands of soldiers. But more and more kept coming, more and more kept coming. And finally, when he got through all of them, he arrived at Jayadratha. And then he was just about to kill Jayadratha. And the sun set. And then Arjun thought, oh no, I have failed. But I have to keep my word. So all the soldiers, they went back to their camps. And Arjun, he got collected the wood and made a funeral pyre. His own funeral pyre. And then he got onto his own funeral pyre. And then, actually, when the father dies, the eldest son has to put the fire. So he was sitting on the funeral pyre about to die, and thinking, oh, my son is dead, he's not even, Abhimanyu cannot even. Who will light the fire? Krishna said, you light it yourself with your arrow. So then Arjun was very depressed. And at that time Jayadratha was very happy. So he didn't stay in his camp, he came over to the Pandavas' camp that night, because he wanted to laugh in Arjun's face while he was burning in the fire. So Jayadratha came there to watch, and he was smiling and laughing. Now Arjun has to kill himself. So then Arjun, he took his arrow, and he chanted mantra, and he was just about to set the funeral pyre on fire, when suddenly the sky, which had started to become dark because the sun had set, suddenly the sky became full of light. And Krishna said, kill him.
Krishna, töte ihn.
And Arjun, the arrow he was going to shoot the funeral pyre, he looked at Jayadratha and shot him.
Wenn eigentlich auf den
Killed him there and then.
Feuer anzünden wollte, hat dann Jayadratha getötet.
Because Krishna,
Weil Krishna
by his Sudarshan chakra, he had covered the sun
hat die Sonne nur bedeckt gehabt.
and made it look like it had gone dark.
Als wäre es nicht
And then
schon
when
Abend.
Jayadratha came in front of Arjun,
Gekommen ist vor Arjuna,
then he removed it, the sky became light,
und
and
dann
then
wurde es wieder hell.
Arjun killed Jayadratha.
Und dann hat Arjuna Jayadratha getötet.
So Krishna has manifested this lila.
Krishna hat diese Lila
He is very tricky.
ist so trickreich.
He's made an extreme drama here, where Arjun went through so much suffering, and then finally, but Krishna saved him. Why did Krishna do this? Because he wanted to give a teaching to the world. Don't make the independent decisions without remembering Guru and Krishna. When Arjun heard the news that Abhimanyu had been killed that day, he became full of emotion. His anger and other emotions overwhelmed him. He never took advice. Krishna is there. He could have taken advice from Krishna. But without speaking to Krishna or taking advice, or even remembering Krishna, he just made a sankalpa. Tomorrow I'll kill him or I'll kill myself. In other words, he acted with the independent, uncontrolled mind, independent of Krishna, and made a sankalpa, and the result was very big. It would have been a very big disaster had Krishna not intervened and saved him. So Krishna is kind, he saves his devotees. But here Arjuna is giving the inspiration to us by this pastime. Don't be carried away by emotions. In your life many things will happen. These are asat chesta kasta prata vikatapa shalibriha prakamam kamadi pratapa vyata vikata pratapati vyatikarai kale badve hanyahan itipaka vidvap makagane. You're on the path of bhakti, and something will happen, and all the emotions, lust, anger, greed, envy, and so on. Here, he had the enmity towards Jayadratha. It came and possessed him, and then he acted independently without taking shelter of Krishna, remembering Krishna, and so on. So in this way, be very careful of the mind. If you will follow your mind in a moment of uncontrolled emotions and so on, and make a sankalpa, any decision, it will take you into the path of disaster and away from the path of pure bhakti. So if you have some situation in your life, when there's a big disturbance, don't make any decision. Just be calm. At night, take rest, sleep on it. In the next morning, your mind will be more clear. Go to your Gurudev or any advanced devotee, discuss with them and take some advice. And then progress. So this is the essence of this verse of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. The verse is not in describing Radha and Krishna. The verse is not full of rasa. But if you don't follow it, you will never discover what rasa is. So remember this verse of Manah Siksa. The next verse, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, Are cheta pradyat kapatha kutinati barikarai shran muktes tatva dahasi katamatma namapimam Sadhatam gandhava giridara pada prema vilasat Sudambo dos tatva swam apinitaram mam cha sukhaya. Oh my dear brother, my dear mind, one more thing. Verse number 6 now. Oh my dear mind, why are you imagining that you are a pure devotee? This is a very big problem, pure devotee syndrome. Now you are chanting so much, you are hearing Shastra and learning so much and doing service. Still many anarthas are there. But now everyone is seeing how you are very determined and thinking you are very advanced.
Du denkst, du seist so vorgeschrieben.
And then you start believing what others are saying.
Und dann glaubst du, was
And then you
andere
think, yes,
sagen.
I am a pure devotee.
Oh ja,
Big
ich bin
problem.
eine Devotin.
Pure devotee syndrome.
So eine Devotin-
Completely deadly terminal disease. Spiritual life. So, actually, when you look in your own mind,
Wenn du deinen eigenen Geist
you know what's there.
weißt du genau, was da ist.
And you know, you are not in the Nitya-lila of Radha and Krishna serving them.
Du bist nicht in der Lieder von Radha und Krishna.
All these things. It's very obvious.
Das ist sehr offensichtlich.
However, due to duplicity,
Aber aufgrund
still you are
des
thinking,
politischen
I'm a very pure
Haltung
devotee.
denkst du, ich bin eigentlich schon recht gut.
Complete duplicity. So, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami here is saying, this duplicity
Diese betrügerische
is
Haltung
like the donkey urine.
ist wie
The urine of a donkey. So if in the morning you wake up
Wenn du morgen aufwächst,
and before you go to Mangalati you have to take shower,
nimmst ein Bad,
so then you go to the bathroom
dann gehst du
and you
zum
take a
Toilette,
big bucket of donkey urine.
dann nimmst du einen großen Kübel,
And then you take Idam Staniam
Idam
like that. And then you come to Mangalati. Haribol! He's saying, my dear mind, how can you become purified if you are constantly taking a shower in the donkey urine of duplicity of thinking, I am a pure devotee?
von einer Selbstüberhebung lebst. Denken, du seist vorgeschritten.
It is impossible.
Es ist unmöglich.
So never think any such ideas.
Solche Ideen.
Always think, I am Badajiv. Everyone say it.
I
am Badajiv. More loudly.
I am Badajiva.
More loudly.
I am Badajiva.
I am a Badajiva.
I am Badajiva.
Badaji means a bound conditioned
Ich
soul.
bin eine Seele, die gebunden ist von der Materie.
I am bound very tightly by Maya.
Ganz stark.
My Gurudev used to say,
Mein Bruder hat
when you chant japa, you japa mala,
Wenn du Japa chantest,
then of course you know you chant like this.
dann chantest
This
du
finger is out.
dieser
Because this finger represents Ahankar, false ego. Your japa mala is Radha Krishna and all gopis dancing in Raslila. And that is a secret thing that is kept in the heart. So the bead bag is white. Because the heart should be pure, Radha Krishna will play secretly there. But this finger represents ego, ahankar. Because when you're angry with anyone, you point, hey you, I'll shoot you. This finger is necessary for. So, this finger is always kept out of the heart. The significance is, never let anger go inside your heart, otherwise you cannot do bhajan. And this finger, in Sanskrit, is called kanishta. So this feeling you should always keep in your heart. I am kanishta, a very junior devotee. If you want to progress, I am a very junior devotee. Kanishta means least. Little, less, least is kanishta. So, here Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, don't entertain the fantasy that you are very pure, because this is only duplicity. How will you become pure if this duplicity you're bathing in the urine of the donkey? Instead, my dear mind, I'm giving you another suggestion. Sadatvam gandharva gedhada prema vilasat sudambo snatva. You should bathe, instead of in donkey urine, bathe in the ocean of the nectar of Gandharva Giridhara Pada Prema Vilasat, the sweet pastimes, loving pastimes of the service to the lotus feet of Gandharvika and Giridhari, Radha and Krishna. Bathe in that instead. This will purify you. And by this, instead of, here he said, Shranmute Dahasi. Dahasi means burning. My dear mind, by bathing in the duplicity of donkey urine of duplicity, you're actually burning me and burning yourself. We are both burning. There's no satisfaction in this. So instead we should both dive into the very cool nectar of the remembrance, of the loving service of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And then you will be happy and I will be happy. So in this way, Raghunatha Swami is making a deal with his mind. I'll be happy and you'll also be happy too. So, what happens? When the devotee becomes full of duplicity, then they neglect their internal life. Srila Ramananda Rai explained to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the highest goal of life, up to the Prem Vilas Vivarta of Radharani, he told. Upon hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied. And he said, Sadhya vastu sadan bina keho nahi pai kripa karo kaharai pabara upai. Now I've understood what is the goal of life. But without adopting the appropriate sadhana to attain it, then it cannot be attained. Because each particular goal has a particular method or path to approach it. So he said, Kripa karo kaharai pabara upai. Oh Ramananda Rai, be merciful to me. This is Mahaprabhu's humility. Be merciful to me and explain how I can attain the goal of my life. So, Rai Ramananda said, unless one comes in the Anugacha under the guidance of the gopis of Vrindavan, then this highest love for Krishna cannot be attained. And he described that one must chant and one should remember the gopis of Vrindavan, how they are serving the divine couple for a long time. That is Krishnam smanam janam tasya prastam nija samidam. Remember Krishna along with the associates in whose footsteps you want to follow, and be absorbed, tat tat katara tascha, so be absorbed in the discussion of their glories and their love and their services for a long time. And gradually by this, then one develops the capacity to conceive of one's own spiritual form. Seva sadhaka rupaina siddha rupaina. That is the next verse. That the capacity to conceive one's own spiritual form, which is just like the associate one wants to follow. This ability comes by the mercy of that associate and your Guru Parampara. So here, Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami is in the stage where he's been chanting and remembering. And the qualities of the associates are awakening in his heart. And the abbas of his own spiritual form is beginning to awaken. And so now his duty is to be totally immersed in the Manah Siksa, internally serving Radha and Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amani nama nandohya sada Krishna nama labe braje Radha Krishna seva manasa kodipe. Be very humble. Give respect to everyone. Don't expect respect for yourself. These two instructions are so important. If you don't respect everyone, then you'll be affected by their faults. And you may try to correct them. Or you will speak about those faults. And those faults will come to you. When you speak about the faults of someone else, even you think about the faults of another person, then you are constructing a bridge between their heart and your heart. And all their bad qualities will come marching over that bridge. And before you know it, whatever you were thinking about them, you will be doing the same thing. Before you know it. So, what? Respect everyone. Like Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, if anyone would say something about anyone else, he would be, up, stop at once. Say, everyone is doing bhajan, except for me. So this attitude is essential.
Diese Haltung ist essentiell.
Everyone is doing bhajan.
Alle machen Bhajan.
Only I am not doing bhajan.
Nur ich bin derjenige, der hier zurückgeblieben ist.
This is manina manadena. Give respect to everyone. Don't expect respect from them.
Und erwarte nicht Respekt.
Sada Krishna Nama Labe. Chant the names of Krishna continuously.
Chante den Namen kontinuierlich.
And when the adhikar arises within,
Und dann wird das Befähigung erwachen in dir.
Shuddha Chitte Sarva Bhakti Sadhana Udgam, when the heart is sufficiently purified, then the sadhana awakens. You cannot artificially do Raganuga
Du
sadhana.
kannst nicht Raganuga Sadhana.
If you follow the teachings of Upadeshamrita,
Du folgst den Lehren der Upadeshamrita.
then by this, in the heart, how you will do Raganuga sadhana, it will awaken. When the heart has reached a stage of sufficient purity. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Shuddha Chitte Sarva Bhakti Sadhana Udgam, Nama Sankirtana Hoite Papa Sangsara Mochan. By Nam Sankirtan, you will be freed from the sinful activities, and when the chitta is somewhat purified, then how to do sadhana will awaken internally. So, Raghunath Das Swami is coming that stage, and now he's saying, don't get carried away with the respect of others and thinking that you are very pure and making a show of this. Know that you are not pure, you are not yet pure, you are not yet perfect, you are not in the lila, in the divine world, without any connection with the sadhak form. That is Vastu Siddhi. Even having this body, and even realizing your spiritual form, and serving internally, with realization, you are still a Baddha Jiva. Until Vastu Siddhi, you are still considered the Baddha Jiva. There's still some element of conditioning. That's why it is called, in that stage, Swarupata Jadmukt. By your nature, you are liberated, but you are not Vastuta Jadmukt, factually out of this world yet. See? So there are two stages. In Swarup Siddhi, when you realize your Swarup, you have Swarupata Jadmukti. By nature, you are liberated from the influence of matter, but not until you give up this sadhak form and your soul takes birth in Krishna's lila, wherever that is going on at that time. Then you have Vastutata Jadmukti, factually liberated from any confines of matter. So, until that time, one has to be very determinedly absorbed in the nectar of internal services. And so Srila Raghunath Swami is saying here, Sadatam Gandharva Giridhara Pada Prema Vilasat. Be absorbed in the Lila Yukta Prem, Vilasa Yukta Prem, the love in which there is a realization of many different types of pastimes. And that love is love for the lotus feet of Gandharva and Giridhari. Gandharva means, it's a name for Radharani. The angels in heaven are called Gandharvas, and they're expert at singing, dancing and playing musical instruments. Three things: singing, dancing and playing musical instruments. So Gandharva refers to that Radharani who is so expert at playing musical instruments, singing and dancing. And Giridhari means Krishna. This is also a very confidential name for Krishna, Giridhari. So Srila Raghunath Das Swami himself, he has mercifully revealed how he was taking bath in the nectar of Radha Krishna service. 24 hours a day. In the morning time, he's chanting Harinam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And in ecstasy he's thinking, oh, just now Radhika will wake up and she'll go to her bathroom. So before she goes to the bathroom, Pranali Kilala Bahubi Rabi Sangshalya Madura Muda Sammarjaswa Vibrita Kachabrinda Priyataya Katha Bayagaram Bara Parimala Dupa Nivahai Vidasi Te Devi Pati Dinamaho Vasitamaham. When will that day come? When Radhika is just woken up and she's talking with her Sakhis. But I have no time for talk. I have no time for talk. I will quickly go to Radhika's bathroom. And there's a bathing dais. And she'll take bath and the water will run down and go out through the drains. So I'll quickly go there and I'll wash the bathing room with scented water. So even when she arrives, the place will be very pure and fragrant. I will light incense there also, fragrant water, and light very excellent incense. And when all the channels, the pranali, the drains, are washed, so there shouldn't be puddles of water here and there, they should also be dried. And I'll be so absorbed in love for the lotus feet of my Swamini that I'll open the braid of my hair and I'll lovingly dry the drains with my hair. So in the morning time, Raghunatha Swami is chanting Harina and doing this Manah Siksa by Siddhadeha. This is the meaning. Sudam Bodho Snatva Swam Apinitaram Mam Chasutkaya Nitaram. Continuously, 24 hours a day, my dear mind, you and me together, we should take bath in the ocean of nectar of the service of Radhika's lotus feet. Radhika will take bath, and then I very humbly, very carefully, with great devotion, I will dry her and help do her vesh. That means Sola Shringa, 16 types of ornaments, and Dwadash Abharan, 12 types of the cosmetics. So Radhika has so many, Sola Shringa, 16 types of golden ornaments, earrings, nose ring, necklaces, armbands, bracelets, finger rings, waist bells, the ankle bells, toe rings, like this. So many ornaments. And 12 types of the cosmetics. Kajal, lipstick, and the paintings in kasturi and in chandan on her face, on her body, lac, altar, red lac on her feet. So Raghunatha Swami, then he's thinking, Subhagamragamadena Akanda Subrang Subate Tilakami Halalate Devi Modat Vidaya Masrinya Gusrina Chacham Arpayitva Chagatre Stana Yugamapi Gandais Chitritam Kim Karisye. Alas, alas. When will the day come? When I will take a sandalwood paste and make Radhika's tilak. Radhika will have a very beautiful tilak with round and then dots around it, like this, and a special design called Kam Yantra. It is the yantra of Cupid, and it is so beautiful. When Krishna sees it, he will come under Radhika's control, like Vasikaran Tantra. Vasikaran Tantra means a magical spell to control someone else. So just like doing Vasikara Tantra, with great love I will paint Radhika's Kam Yantra Tilak. And then I will mix sandalwood paste with different colors. And before Radhika puts on her shirt, I will paint beautiful pictures. That is called the Patravangi. Different vines and leaves and flowers on the breast of Radhika. Knowing that later, oh, Krishna will appreciate my artwork. So Raghunatha Swami is chanting Harinam and rendering these very loving paricharya seva to Srimati Radhika. Yasyang karanjta shiras tavamana bange Gostenda nandana Gostenda sunu susumam Gostenda sunu adikam susum mam upayeti Lakshara sa sachakada Padiyas tayoryat Nyasto mamapi atitaram chavin apsyatiha. Raghunatha Swami is thinking, when will I take the very beautiful lotus feet of Radhika in my hands and I will paint the lac, red foot lac on the feet of Radharani with a very beautiful pattern also around the edge. And now, as I am painting her lotus feet, then in my heart I remember the glories of this lac. What is the glory of this lac? Yasyang karanjita shiras tavamana bange. If Radharani is in a contrary mood, upset with Krishna, she won't talk to Krishna or agree to meet with him in any way. But Krishna's heart is desperate. And he will come and he will fall at the feet of Radhika and take her lotus feet and hold Radhika's feet on her head and beg for forgiveness. Please forgive me. And then when Krishna puts down the lotus feet of Radhika, then the imprint of this red lac on her ears has come on the forehead of Krishna. And then Krishna Gostenda sunu adikam susumam. Adikam susuman means he looks even more beautiful. Krishna is very beautiful, but he looks even more beautiful when his head is decorated with the footlac of Radhika. And there the auspicious signs on the lotus feet of Radhika also imprinted there. So Raghunatha Swami is saying, oh, when will I decorate the lotus feet of Radhika with this red lac? Thinking, oh, how beautiful it is. What are the glories of this lac? That it makes even Krishna become more beautiful when he's begging forgiveness from my Swamini. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So in this verse of Manah Siksa, Srila Raghunatha Swami is saying, my dear mind, this is a better proposal. Instead of bathing in the donkey urine, of pretending to be a pure devotee, actually do something to become a pure devotee. If you spend your mind immersed in the service of the divine couple in this way, while chanting Harinam, then you will be happy and I will be happy. This is the essence of the 6th verse of Manah Siksa. Gaur Prem Ananda.
Going in some Karam Guru?
Yes, I told just this is the morning. This is Raghunatha Swami's morning service.
No, I mean his mood, like you were saying that the 5th verse is from Nishta, 6th is from Ruchi, is it going like that?
No.
Because it starts higher.
No, it's he's on the level that he's in. Which here really, he is a devotee who, it exactly corresponds really to Asakti. The devotee in Asakti and Ratya Bas has appeared and he's absorbed in sadhana to turn Ratya Bas into Shuddharati, purity. Because almost at the end of, not every verse, but most of the verses, he's saying, the first verse, may I have Rati. In the previous verse, Prajay Radha Krishna Swarati Manidotam, he's begging that Radha Krishna will give him Rati. Bhav. So he's the sadhak just prior to Bhav, and some semblance of Bhav is appearing, and he's intensely engaged in that, And even when Bhav has come,
Und selbst wenn Bhav kommt,
then he'll continue in serving in this way.
dient weiter auf diese Weise.
But in the stage of Bhav, then the dangers have gone.
Aber jetzt
But
sind
here
alle
he's
Gefahren
writing the
weg.
person, before Bhav has appeared,
Bevor
there's
Bhav
still some
ist,
danger,
gibt's eine
some
Gefahr,
distraction.
Ablenkung.
And so he's begging his mind to
Und er
allow
bittet
him
seinen Geist,
to go into that higher stage beyond
in diese höhere Stufe
difficulties.
einzulegen.
So in Ragamarg, even in the stage of Ruchi, some Ratyabhas appears. Something is there. So these instructions are suitable for the devotee who has entered into Ruchi and more applicable for those in the stage of Asakti. But from Ruchi onwards. And so this is the prayer that a sadhak in that stage, they'll offer all the verses every day. It's not that one verse is for this stage, one is for this stage, one is for that stage. But these are all the directions on how a person in that stage can go into very deep and confidential service of Radha and Krishna internally. Any other question? Most of the devotees are not in this stage. But you must hear about it. Otherwise, we have no orientation where we're supposed to be going in our life. Then you'll think, oh, when I'm a neophyte devotee, then I have to distribute books. But when I become more advanced, then I have to open a preaching center. But when I'm really advanced, then I have to make a big temple, like this. And you judge your progress based on all external things. So we have to know, what are the next steps? Where are we really supposed to be going? And this is why we're having this discussion of Manah Siksa. So we can fix our determination, make a sankalpa in our life. One day I want to do bhajan like this. Now let me adopt the steps. Krami Krami Pai Bhavalokas in discourse. Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Swami, you can get there, but go step by step. Yes?
How can we make a distinction between Ruchi and Samai?
Yes, because in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Srinvata sadhiha nityam grinatas cha sochestitam kali nanati dirgena bhagavan vishate ridi. When Ruchi comes, then you won't have to try to remember Krishna. When you chant the holy name, the form of Krishna will awaken of its own accord. And then go on chanting and remembering the form, and the qualities will awaken. Then the qualities of the associates. And even in advanced stage, in higher stage, you will also enter into meditation in this kram. You see, take a poem of Rupa Goswami, like Utkali Cavalry, Chatupuspanjali or so on. You begin to read it. It is not like reading Krishna Bhavanamrita. In the morning they do this and this and this. It's not like that. Because Rupa Goswami is showing the Abhidheya Tattva, the process. So you'll see the first about 10 verses are only a meditation on Radha Krishna Roop. He's not saying that. But if a devotee has bhajan chaturya, when you read the poetry of Rupa Goswami, you can see what he's doing. He's guiding you. First Rupa Smaran, and then Gun Smaran, then Parikar Smaran, and then it turns into past by, you get about halfway through, 70 or 80 verses, then the verses become mantra maya upasana, meditation on a particular moment in a particular lila. Just take a poem of Rupa Goswami, I'm recommending in this case Ukalik Cavalry, and examine it very carefully. And this is why in Upadeshamrita he said, Tan nama rupa charitadis ukirtananu smrityo kramena. Remember Nam Rup Gun and Lila in a kram. And when they have awakened, niyojya, after you've engaged in doing that, then tishtan brajeta danuragi jananugami. Like this. And then you can actually follow the associates. Actually really follow them, not by imagination. See? So in Ruchi, Krishna's form and qualities and their associates, they're awakening gradually like this. And when you become absorbed in their associates, then in a Sakti, then you begin to identify with them. And then first the Mantramaya Lila will come by the power of Nam, and then later it will turn into Swarasiki Upasana. And that is what we have in, say, Vilap Kusumanjali. He's describing first his services in the morning, and then traveling with Radharani to Nandagaon, and then cooking in the meeting Madhya Yashoda outside. Madhya Yashoda comes out to greet them, and she embraces Radharani. Alinganena Sirasa Parichumbanena Snehavalokana Chakanjanakshi. Madhya Yashoda is embracing Radharani and kissing her all over her face. And Radharani is so embarrassed and looking here and there with eyes like a wagtail bird, thinking, someone's gonna get suspicious because she treats me just like I'm her daughter-in-law. And then all the Sakis of Radhika, they bow down to Madhya Yashoda and she embraces them one by one, then they'll go in the kitchen to cook. Like that. So, in Vilakusamanjali, this is the Swarashiki Upasana being described step by step. So that's why sometimes an advanced devotee may say to a young devotee, don't read this so much. You can read, but don't read it so much, you cannot understand. And the young devotee says, I read it, I can understand it. Actually, they don't have a clue. When they come into that stage, after Mantramaya Upasana, after this realization, then they can actually understand what Raghunath Goswami is saying. So you can read something and get some idea, but hearing is best. And then apply yourself. Rupa Goswami also says, as Mahaprabhu said to Raghunath, krame krame, step by step you can go. So in Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami is also saying, Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena, step by step. That is called Bhajan Chaturja, expertise. Yeah? Many people have some eagerness, I want to serve Radha and Krishna. But unless you're expert, it's very difficult to enter. So Rupa Goswami is expressing this in his poetry. Utsamai, you know you're in the stage of Utsamai when it comes to the end. Utsamai lasts for some time, then becomes Ganatalara, and you lose your enthusiasm. So you can know if it's Ruchi or Utsamai. Because if you have Utsamai, you are chanting and you want to remember Krishna, but you are trying by force. And you are trying by force, why? Because you are committing Namaparad. Because if you chant without Namaparad, at once Ruchi will come and then the Smaran will awaken by itself. Krishna form will come in your heart. So beautiful. You feel that that you can die. Only seeing one toe of his lotus feet. And that stage the devotee is ruchi and realization is coming. But it doesn't, his heart does not have the capacity to contain the ocean of Krishna's beauty. So then he's chanting more and more and more to develop the capacity to realize more. Yes?
Can you maybe explain the difference between duplicity, deceit and hypocrisy?
Oh, you have to say only Sanskrit words, then I'll tell you. Because English words, in English or whatever language, you know, the words can have so many implications. But Sanskrit is more precise. I mean, in English, duplicity and hypocrisy, they are, hypocrisy is duplicity.
Synonyms.
For sure. But they're not exactly synonyms, because in English, hypocrisy means you say one thing and you do something else. Whereas deceit may be just cheating, you know, cheating in some way. But of course hypocrisy is one type of deceit. Here, in this verse, it is a kapata, duplicity, and it means, it will be explained in the next verse. It comes. Because each of the verses are connected. Brajman was just asking this question, is it in a sequence?
Es ist in einer Sequenz.
This Manah Siksa is not necessarily in a sequence of development,
In einer Entwicklungs-
but there is a
Sequenz.
thread of reason going through each of the verses.
Es gibt einen Grund, weswegen der nächste
Ja.
Vers eben kommt.
So the thread of reason here is the previous verse,
Im letzten Vers
asat kasta chasta pata vikatapa shalirbiha, means that you may be free
du magst vielleicht frei
from doing the asat chesta,
weltliche Tätigkeiten
material activities, but you are not free from duplicity.
Du bist nicht frei von innenbetrieberischen.
And then the next verse, Pratishta Sadhishta, answers the question, why is it, even though you've stopped doing the wrong material activities, but you're not free from duplicity?
Bist du nicht frei
And the answer comes in the next verse,
von dem nächsten Vers.
because you have Pratishtasha, the desire to be recognized and honored by others. And that's why the duplicity of the previous verse isn't going away.
Deswegen geht die Betrugstätigkeit vom vorangegangenen Vers nicht.
So in one sense, this sixth verse is like an advancement over the fifth verse.
Ist eine Fortsetzung vom fünften
But then the
Vers.
seventh verse kind of goes back and explains to you why you're not free from duplicity because of the presence of Pratishta, you see. And those two are always together. The Pratishta is like a dog-eating, drunken prostitute woman. He will explain in the next verse. And duplicity is her lover, and so her paramour. So just as that prostitute will not give up her paramour. So in the same way, as long as there's the desire for reputation, then duplicity won't go away. And the astonishing thing is that the Pratishtasha who has this is blind. They are blind to it. You don't know that it's there. So, but that's the next verse. We'll discuss the nuances and the dynamic of the kapatata and the Pratishtasha and how to overcome it tomorrow.
If mantra upasana is asakti, then svarasiki upasana is what?
Yes, really, when in bhav. So, mantra upasana you can do in the stage of asakti. But actually, when your Gurudev gives you Diksha in Gopal Mantra, at that time, Guru is already preparing you for Mantramaya Upasana. Because by Diksha, now with the Diksha mantras, you can begin to do Archan. And the deity, whenever you serve any deity, this deity means that Gurudev has from his heart manifested the Mantrapasana Maya Lila Pit in a way which is visible to your senses. And he's giving you the Yoga Pit Seva, actually, the service of Radha and Krishna in that Yoga Pit, in their meeting place. And so he gives you mantra and a dhyan, a meditation to go with it. And so right from Diksha, you are beginning to do Mantramaya Upasana, but you cannot do it actually. But what happens, by offering arti to the deities every day and serving them, then impression, very strong impression comes. And the body becomes purified, the mind becomes purified. Very easily, by serving the deity, then the form of the deity comes in your mind. So then as you go on chanting without offense, the qualities of the deity will awaken also, like this. And gradually, one will become successful. One can successfully engage in Mantramaya Upasana. So this process of Diksha is bringing us into the Yoga Pit, actually.
Mantramaya Upasana means realization of the mantra? Or it's not the process?
No, actually, understand it in this way. Krishna has two types of lila. Prakat lila, it's manifest here. And aprakat lila, unmanifest lila, is there. Now, that aprakat lila has two types of dimensions.
Die zwei Dimensionen.
One is called the Swarasiki Lila Pit. It is a dimension where Krishna and his associates are moving everywhere, going here.
Überall hingeht mit seinen Gefährten.
But there are other Lila Pits, they're called Mantrupasnamai Lila Pit. And there are many of them. And Krishna and his associates, they're present in all of them. But they don't go to other places. They're eternally present in that Lila Pit. And that Lila, whichever Lila, is going on forever. Eternally. And so, the Guru can give you a mantra or a verse which is acting like a mantra, which will connect you to that, to the realization of that eternal prakosht or chamber of Krishna's Lila. So don't think about it in terms of a technique, that it's a technique of meditation. No, there's a Lila Pit that really exists. And because that Lila Pit is accessible through a mantra, therefore it's called the Mantrupasnamai Lila Pit. And the process of remembering a mantra and the meditation that goes with that is the method by which one enters to that Lila Pit. So don't think that you're there and you're doing some random meditation on something that your Gurudev told you. No, there's a reality and it's there. And Guru has given you the instruction how you can enter that reality. And so, the deities, any deities, let's say if someone is worshipping Lord Ram. So Ram is here, Sita is on his left, Lakshman is on his right, and Hanuman is kneeling down in front. That is the Ayodhya Yoga Pit. And so the deities are in this posture because that's what it is. The pure Vaishnavas have manifested that Lila Pit in this world, so that you can enter from there. So Diksha and the service of the deity combine together to give the practicing devotee their first experience of the transcendental realm. It is the point of entry. Jiva Goswami says when Mantrupasnamai Lila Pit realization becomes mature, it will turn into Swarasaki by itself. So it is a fault and a defect to try to meditate on Swarasaki Lila before what the Yoga Pit Lila has awakened in the heart. And it is impossible. You will not progress properly. So, the process of Diksha and the process of Archan are very specifically, our Acharyas have manifested these because they know the most practical way to introduce us into the eternal pastimes. So, though we're saying Mantramaya Upasana will be successful in Asakti, but you have a plenary introduction of this. Gurudev is very merciful from the time of your initiation.
But it's like Mantramaya Upasana Bas?
Yeah.
And Gurudev was explaining this 5 level of Smaran. Also with Mantramaya Upasana, like 5 different levels. So this is like process also going up to Samadhi.
Yes.
Samadhi means this Shakti.
Krishna Chandra.
I just wondered, whenever I read this verse, you said the pure devotee syndrome. The stage where a devotee thinks, now I made it, I'm advanced. So, is it because really why is this happening? Why is this appearing? Is it maybe because of like the real path of the sadhya is not very clear, that really he thinks, oh, this 2% I went, wow, this is it?
That's in the next verse, Pratishtasa. Because the desire for Pratishta is there, when a little progress comes, then he thinks, wow, and now everyone should worship me. So Raghunath Das Swami is praying to us, please don't go on that path.
diesen Pfad, begeh nicht den Pfad.
You will go down very fast and lose everything,
Du wirst
and
runtergehen
you will
und alles
not
verlieren.
attain your goal.
Du wirst dein Ziel
So my
nicht
dear
erreichen.
mind, please collaborate with me, cooperate with me,
Kooperiere mit mir
and actually do bhajan.
und mach wirklich ein
Don't
Bhajan.
become enamored by the external facilities.
Sei nicht jetzt weggetragen von äußeren Möglichkeiten.
Really, this Manah Siksa is so essential
Manah Siksa ist
for
so
sincere devotees.
für einen aufrichtigen Devotee.
This is really the Pratishtha. The desire for Pratishtha
Der Wunsch nach Erhebung,
is,
nach Ruhm und Ehre
is like the essence of Maya.
ist wie die Essenz von Maya.
Because as long as one is not,
Solange man
you see, Mahaprabhu's philosophy is a Chincha Veda Veda
so
Tattva.
den Mahaprabhus Philosophie ist Achinte Veda.
Everything is inconceivably
Alles ist
different and also not different from Krishna.
eins und verschieden mit Krishna.
So when a person is Krishna conscious,
Wenn jemand Krishna bewusst wird,
then he sees Krishna everywhere.
sieht er Krishna überall.
So then from whom will you get Pratishtha?
So, von wem könntest du dann Ehre und Ansehen bekommen?
You're seeing Krishna everywhere in the heart of everyone, manifesting everything. Then who will give you, who do you want to give respect? Who do you want to give respect to you? You see? And so the absence of the awareness of Krishna everywhere facilitates the possibility that others can respect you. You see? And so that disappearance of Krishna from your consciousness is Maya. Ritirtam yat pratiyetana pratiyete chatmahi. The non-perception of the real is Maya. Maya tattva. You see? And so, if you boil that down to the very essence, as a subjective experience, it's only the choice between the possibility or the absence of possibility to be respected. Understand? And that's why Pratishtha, this is the last thing to go. And so Mahaprabhu said, Tena the peace and each. Follow this and everything will come. So we'll have kirtan. Because now it's after 2 o'clock already. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pada Ki Jai! jai. Bhakti Leela Pravishtom Ishtapade Shtoda Sachimad Rupanuga Tarivar Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Musomharaj ki jai. Leela Pravishtom Ishtapade Shtoda Sachimad Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Leela Pravishtom Ishtapade Shtoda Sachimad Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Jagad Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Mahabhagavad Shri Gopis Bhavji Maharaj ki jai. Saptam Goswami Satchidananda Thakur Bhakti Nod ki jai. Shri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Bhaga ki jai. Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhattar Gunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Daswagna Sadgoswami Prabhu ki jai. Prem Sago Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Vrajamandal Kettamandal Gaura Mandal ki jai. Tribhuvana Mangalkari Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Radha Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohanju ki jai. Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Brinda ki jai. Samagada Bhakta Brinda ki jai. Amadesrasa Shri Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radharani ki jai. Jai Gaura Premanande. Om Vrindaye Tulasi Devaya Priyaye Kesavasya Krishna Bhakti Pani Devi Satvatai Namo Vanchakamatadurasya Kripa Sindhumeja Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo